Think about your childhood. Think about your first school. Think about the people you used to trust the most. Now, ask yourself something disturbing. What if none of those memories happened the way you remember them? Not emotionally, not metaphorically, literally. What if your brain changed them? Because right now, scientists already know something unsettling. Your memories are not recordings, they are reconstructions. And that means they can be wrong. Every single time you remember something, your brain rebuilds it, piece by piece, detail by detail. And during that process, parts of the memory can change. Sometimes the changes are small, sometimes they are not. Over time, your brain can slowly reshape the past without you realizing it. And the worst part is this: you would never notice it happening. Most people think memories work like videos stored in the brain, like a file you can replay whenever you want. But that is not how memory works at all. Your brain does not store perfect moments. It stores fragments, images, emotions, sounds, feelings. Then later, when you try to remember something, your brain stitches those fragments together into a story. And every time it rebuilds that story, it can accidentally change parts of it. That means your memory is not fixed. It is constantly evolving, constantly shifting, constantly rewriting itself. And this is not just a theory. Psychologist Elizabeth Loftus spent years studying how easy it is to create false memories inside the human brain. In one famous experiment, people were convinced they had been lost in a shopping mall as children. They described the memory in detail. They talked about how scared they felt. They remembered conversations that never happened. There was just one problem. The event was completely fake. It never happened at all. And yet their brains accepted it as real. Now think about what that means. If the brain can create an entirely false childhood memory, then how many of your memories are completely accurate? Your happiest moment? Your biggest regret? Your most painful experience? What if parts of those memories changed over time? What if your brain edited them without your permission? At first, this sounds harmless, just small mistakes, minor distortions. But this is where things become dangerous. Because your brain does not simply store memories, it rewrites them constantly. There is actually a process in neuroscience called memory reconsolidation. Every time you remember something, the memory briefly becomes unstable, editable. Then your brain stores it again. But when it goes back into storage, it does not always return the same way. Small details can disappear. New details can be added. Emotions can become stronger or weaker. And eventually, the memory itself starts changing shape. Right now, think about a specific memory from your past. Something clear, something important, something you believe happened exactly the way you remember it. Got it? There is a very high chance that part of that memory is wrong. Not obviously wrong, not completely fake, just altered enough to change what really happened. And you cannot tell which part changed. That is what makes this so disturbing. Because you are not the only person influencing your memories. Other people can influence them too. A simple question can reshape the past. Someone saying, "Are you sure that is how it happened?"
That is all it takes. Your brain starts filling in gaps, adjusting details, smoothing inconsistencies, and eventually, you stop remembering your version of the event. You start remembering theirs, and you do not notice the moment the switch happens. Now imagine this happening over years, across your entire life. Small changes, different people, different moments, different emotions, all slowly stacking on top of each other. At what point does your past stop being real?
You have probably already experienced this without realizing it. There is something called the Mandela Effect. This happens when large groups of people remember the same thing incorrectly. Not slightly differently, completely differently. Here is one example. Think about Pikachu from Pokemon. Most people remember a black tip on his tail. They can picture it clearly. They are confident it existed, but it never did. Not in any official version. The black tip was never there. And yet millions of people remember it. Now ask yourself something uncomfortable. If your brain can confidently invent a detail that never existed, then what else has it changed? What other details in your life feel real, but are not? Let us test something. Right now, before continuing, try to remember exactly what you were thinking about 30 seconds ago. Not roughly, exactly. Most people cannot do it clearly. And that is not because you were not thinking. It is because your brain does not store moments the way you believe it does. So if your brain struggles to perfectly reconstruct something from 30 seconds ago, then what makes you so confident about memories from 10 years ago? At this point, this stops being a conversation about memory. Now it becomes a conversation about identity. Because everything you believe about yourself comes from your past. Your fears, your beliefs, your personality, your decisions, your relationships. All of it is built on memory. So if your memories are unreliable, then what exactly are you? If your past changes, then your identity changes with it. That means you are not the exact same person you were yesterday. And tomorrow, your brain could quietly rewrite another piece of your story without you noticing. That is the terrifying part. You do not need all your memories to be fake. Just a few important ones. Just enough to change the direction of your life.
One altered memory could change a decision. That decision could change a relationship. That relationship could change your future. And suddenly, your entire life begins moving in a completely different direction because of something your brain rewrote years ago. And you would never know. You would wake up believing you are the same person you have always been. Without realizing, your memories have been quietly reshaping who you are the entire time. So the next time you remember something important, do not just ask yourself, did this really happen? Ask yourself something much more disturbing. What if this is simply the version of the memory that replaced